we're going to do a pre-trip inspection on a car, and I'm going to walk you through step by step on how to do it. The very first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop the hood, check the fluids underneath the hood. Check your battery, make sure your caps aren't corroded. So right here you see what a cap is supposed to look like, and right here you see one that's corroded and needs cleaned. The next thing you want to do is you want to check your windshield washer fluid, your reservoir, which will be right in your under hood section here. Should have a logo on it that looks like a windshield with fluid spraying on it, and this should be filled up to nearly to the top. This will indicate whether or not you've got enough windshield washer fluid in there. So we're just going to add that to our list of things that we need to do before we take this vehicle on a long trip. Check the oil levels. What you'll do is you'll find your dipstick. Usually it says engine oil or something along those lines. You'll pull it out, you'll look at it, you'll check the weight, the consistency, and it should have lines on here about where your oil should go to. What you do is you'll wipe that off, dip it back down in, and as long as it falls within this range right here with all these crosshatch lines, you're good. Typically you want to look at the color of the oil, the weight. It should be like a really thin syrup. That's how you know it's good or not. Check your oil, and if you do need to change it, what you'll do is you'll find your cap somewhere along either next to the engine or offset from it. Typically, sometimes it'll have it labeled, like this one says it needs SAE 5W20 weight. That just means that that's the kind of oil you use. Typically most cars are going to take 5W20 or 5W30 because it's kind of a universal standard. But some are different. Some trucks take a heavier weight oil. What we're going to do is we're going to check your coolant reservoir and your power steering fluid. Your coolant reservoir, typically you're going to have your radiator. It's going to be along the front. There will be a metal cap. Do not ever open that whenever it's hot, because that spits steam at you and burn you. It's under pressure. But typically you'll have a reservoir that's offset from the radiator. On the reservoir you'll have a lid. It says do not open when hot, warning. Engine's not hot though, so we can open it. And you'll see in here, and your coolant reservoir should be almost full. See, this one in here is low, so that's just one more thing we'll have to fill up before this car's taken on a long trip. Also, you'll notice in here that it shows you not to mix coolants. So this one's currently got a SAE orange coolant in it, meaning we'll need to keep it with orange coolant. Can't switch to the SAE gold. Next, what we'll do is we'll check the power steering fluid. There should be a pump, or the reservoir should be either offset right from the coolant reservoir, or it should be on the other side by the power brakes. For the power steering, kind of open it up, check it. There's usually a float in there. You can see the float if you look in there. Alright, and what it'll do is you'll see on the reservoir for this one, there's actually markings that show where the minimum amount is and where the maximum amount is. So right there you got your max, and right there you got your minimum. Okay, the next thing we'll do is we're going to check your power brake fluid. Your power brakes are right here. So this is your power brake booster. What you'll need to do is just kind of eyeball, make sure your fluid's good. Looks like that one is. So you should be good to go right there. Okay, last thing we're going to do underneath the hood is you'll find your transmission dipstick. Once you find your transmission dipstick, you want to pull that. It's usually pretty long because it's going all over your transmission. And the fluid should be red. And if you smell it, it should be almost kind of sweet smelling. But red, and it's kind of also the consistency of like a really thin syrup. If that needs filled, typically, or if it comes out black and cruddy, typically you'll probably need to take it to a mechanic and have a fluid flush done. And basically what they'll do is they'll flush all your old fluid out and replace it with brand new fluid. It's our pre-trip inspection, which is something that you can do at your home by yourself before you go on any long trips. We check your battery, your transmission fluid, your oil, power steering fluid, your power brake fluid, as well as your windshield wiper fluid. Doing things like this before you go on a long trip can ensure that your trip goes smoothly, as well as prolong the life of your vehicle.